Perfect. Okay, so hi everybody, welcome. Good luck if you have your test coming up. Hopefully we can be of help for you today. So we're looking at the general training module today and the letter writing. So that's the task one, always a letter in the general training. But we're specifically going to look at the formal letter writing today. Okay. So some of the things that we're going to do is look at how to plan your letter, look at the different parts that you need to include, and what are the letter conventions that you need to follow. Very important for the task achievement, and some of the differences between formal ways of writing letters and more informal ways of writing letters. Okay. So this is our kind of sample task that we're going to look at today. Okay, so you can see that you have a situation, then it tells you who you're writing to, and then it gives you always 3 bullet points with 3 specific things that you need to include in your letter. Okay, so it's always a letter, as we've said. The minimum word count for the task one is 150. Okay, there is no maximum word count, only a minimum one. If you go below the minimum score, you do lose a lot of marks in task achievement. So it is very important to be over that 150. There's no maximum, but at the same time, if you write a lot, you know, you may be going over the 20 minutes, which is what they recommend for the task one, and you may be including some irrelevant information. So 170, 160, 180, something like that is fine. Okay, so there's 3 types of letter that you might get. Does anybody know what the 3 types of letter are? Okay, that's very honest. You just saying that. Not opinion. Remember, we're focusing on task one here, looking at the letters. What kind of letters can you get? Okay, Anusha, very good. We've got formal, informal, and semi-formal. Okay, very good. Ramesh, Arjun, you're there. Okay, and we've called the informal one personal because it's to a friend, but you know, it's the same thing. So you can get one of any of these types of letters in the general training. Okay, very important, because a lot of people think it's always formal. It's not the case. It can be a letter to a friend. Okay, so we're going to look at some true false sentences here, see how good your knowledge is here. So how much is the task one worth of the overall writing mark? Is it 50%? What do you think, true or false? Okay, accessible dude is absolutely right. Yeah, it's so yeah, it's false. It's actually 1/3, whereas the task 2 is worth 2/3. Okay, yeah, so you know, be careful with that. It is very important to take the 40 minutes on the task 2. It requires more time. It's worth more marks. Okay. So next one, spend a little bit of time planning before you start your letter. What do you think, true or false? Okay, yes, mine has gone for true. Yes, okay. Very, very important for both of the writing tasks to spend some time planning. It actually saves you time in the long run. Okay. Okay, you should put an address at the top of the letter. Okay, good. Never. Okay, I like that. Very emphatic. Yeah, absolutely. You do not need to write any addresses, dates, or anything like that. You just start dear. Okay, not necessary to write an address. Okay, waste of time. Okay, the style of letter is up to you. It's your choice. Okay, very good. Okay, again, that is false. You must write the style of letter which fits the task that you are given. Okay, Yes, very good, Hamada. It depends on the receiver. It depends on the situation. We'll look at some examples in a moment, but it's certainly not up to you to decide what kind of letter it is. Okay. You must write about all of the bullet points in the task. Okay, yes, very, very important that you cover those 3 bullet points and that you cover them fully as well. Okay, to get a 7 in task achievement, it says fully developed bullet points. So that means lots of detail. Okay, yes, definitely very much those ones that are saying that. And those 3 points will help you to structure your letter. Would you say that's true or false? Okay, very good. Mohammed, yes, sweetie. Okay, exactly. So those 3 bullet points are the 3 paragraphs in your body. Okay, with the opening and the closing. Okay, very good. Okay, you are not allowed to make up details. You have to be factual. You have to talk about something real. Okay, very good. That's false. It's actually the only way you can do it is to create some information there. It doesn't matter at all as long as it makes sense. Okay. You must use your own name at the end of the letter. Yeah, it's false that you have to do it. It basically doesn't matter. Use your own name, use another name, don't write anything, really doesn't matter. It's not important for the assessment of the task. Okay. And always leave a little gap at the end, time-wise, in order to check. Okay, absolutely, Anusha, you're right. Okay, again, also true of the task 2. You know, it's very important to have a little bit of time to go through. Very easy to make a mistake just because of writing too fast, something like that. You'll see it, you know, when you read through again at the end. Okay. So that's some general ideas about the task 1. So let's look again more specifically at these 3 types of letter that you can get. So if you remember, it's formal, semi-formal, and personal or informal, you could call it. So let's think about some different types. So what kind of formal letter do you think you might be asked to write? What's the kind of typical situation for a formal letter? Okay, very good. Hamada, you are very often complaining. Yeah, you're making some kind of complaint. Okay, could be related to a job. Iti, yes, that's right. Or you're requesting something. Okay, very good. Yeah. Yes, okay, job application, some kind of event. What about semi-formal? This can be a little bit trickier. What kind of situation overall would be okay? That's right, a sweetie is someone that you know personally, but the situation is usually, yeah, is more formal. So neighbor, you know your neighbor, but let's say you want to complain or you want to apologize. Yeah, Anusha, acquaintances, that's quite a nice way to think about it. So they're not real good friends, but it's also not somebody you don't know at all, or a company, something like that. Yes, accessible dude, a colleague is a very good example. So writing to a colleague, you know them, but you're not friends. About some kind of situation. Yes, exactly, Eleanor, landlady. So acquaintances, people you know, but the topic of the letter or the purpose of the letter is not really a friend one. Yeah, okay, very good. And what about informal letters, personal letters? What kind of purpose might you have for that? Okay, yeah, good. Say that could be again a request, but it's a personal request. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, friends or relatives, invitation. Okay, you could be writing about a party. What other situations might you be? Yeah, you could be catching up. Invitation. Okay, good. Yeah, some kind of event. Sometimes you're asking them questions about something. Yeah. Okay. It's not usually a love letter, actually, but it's quite a nice example, but it would be maybe a bit too personal. Okay, so let's look at some examples and see if we can work out if they're formal, semi-formal, or personal. Okay, writing to an airline about some lost luggage. What would that be? Okay, absolutely. That would definitely be a formal situation. Okay, and how about this one? Okay, an invitation to visit you on your birthday. Okay, very good. That's definitely a personal letter. Okay. Okay, how about this one? Your friend has a marketing company and wants you to come and work with them. Okay, and you'll reply, okay, very good, exactly. So person you know, situation is not really a friendship situation. It's a more formal situation. Okay, very good. All right, and how about this one? You have a problem with your neighbor. Yes, semi-formal, guys. Yeah, so again, you know the person, but it's not, you know, a happy letter that you're writing here. You're going to have to be quite formal, you know, to keep the relationship right. Yeah, so this is very good example of a semi-formal letter that you might have to write. Okay, writing to a railway company. Okay, yeah, very good. So that's definitely a formal letter. Quite often when it says to a company and it's that kind of, it's that impersonal, it's going to be, you know, a formal letter. Okay. So this is something that we're going to look at in more detail here. Okay. I would say to your manager would be semi-formal, Mohammed, yeah. Probably because you are going to know that person, but it's probably going to be, you know, a formal situation. So this is a formal letter, as we saw. So what's the purpose of the letter? If you could put that in like one word or a couple of words, what is the purpose of your, okay, very good, Fee. It's a request, okay? You're asking for something, okay? And so using your imagination a little bit here, it's a lost item, but what might you have lost? Okay, Surya, some baggage or a specific bag, a mobile phone, Romario, or your wallet, Anjali. Okay, good. My son, Basil. I might be slightly more emergency than writing a letter if you've lost your son. Okay, good. Document, something like that. Okay, very good. So range of things that you might have lost. Let's stick with an object rather than a person. Okay, for example, when and where do you think you might, what could you say that you've lost it? Okay, so yeah, you would have been on the train in a compartment. Okay, maybe you'd put it below the seat, yes, or while you were boarding the train. Okay, could be at the station. And what about when? What would you put for that? Yeah, you're right, Indra. It's going to be the time and the place. Yeah, so maybe last night, 2 days ago. Be as specific as possible. You know, if you thought about if you were doing this in real life, you'd want to tell them the specific train you were on. Otherwise, it would be very hard for them to, you know, to find your wallet or son or whatever it was that you'd lost. Okay. And then the last bullet point, yes, very good point, Roshan. You need to mention the last station. What's the destination? Okay. So say what action you would like the company to take. So what, okay, very good. Home, yeah, find it, check, get in touch with you as soon as possible. Okay, Devra, maybe give you some compensation. Maybe you could send it to you. So anything where it's just like say what action you want them to take or say what you want them to do, be specific, okay? It's not enough to just say, I would like you to take some action or I would like you to solve this problem. Be very specific with what you want them to do, okay? So we've got then all of our plans here. We know what we've lost, we know where and when, and we know what we want them to do if they find it. Okay. So let's look now at how you're going to structure the letter. Okay. So the first part is the greeting. Then very, very important, the very first thing you put in the body of the letter is the purpose. Okay, why are you writing? In order to get, you know, a good mark at task achievement, it has to be a very clear purpose. Okay, then you're going to have your 3 body parts or body paragraphs related to the 3 bullet points in the task. Okay, it's great. The 3 bullet points basically give you your paragraph structure for the letter. You don't have to think about it any more than that. Okay. Then we have, you know, we want to have some kind of closing statement. These are quite conventional phrases that we use. Okay, the purpose, we'll look at this in a minute, Indrasena, but the purpose would be, for example, to complain, to invite, to apologize, to ask for some information, to give some information. So those would be the purposes, and those would be how you would want to start your letter. Okay. Don't put any titles. There's no titles. Okay. All right. And then at the end, you need to sign off. Okay. Yeah, you don't need to say too much detail in the purpose. Okay. But we're going to look at some examples in a minute. So your greeting, what's that going to be like? How do you greet someone? What's the salutation in a letter? Okay. Okay, very good. Yeah, Andrea, dear. Okay, it could be sir or what would be the second one? Sir or madam. Okay, that's very good. Kikiloma, yeah. I mean, sometimes you might have a name, but I would say in most cases in the formal letter, you're writing to a company, as it says here. You don't know who you're writing to. So you're going to just say, dear sir, madam. Okay. I wouldn't say to whom it may concern. That's one, it's a bit old fashioned and it's not really the right situation to do that. Okay. So this is for a formal letter. If you're writing to a friend, obviously you know the name of the friend and then you're going to say, dear Susan or something like that. Okay. I wouldn't use respected sweetie. That's not really letter convention. Yeah. Okay. Or company, because again, that's not really the code. Just dear sir, madam. Don't need to think about it. Just put that. Don't put anything else, to be honest. Okay. So how can we introduce the purpose? Yeah, dear is fine in all letters. Okay. How do we introduce the purpose? Okay, yeah, so I am writing to, or I would like to. Okay. So yeah, again, quite simple, straightforward. Remember, these are conventions, which means they're standard, which means you don't want to mess around with them. Just use the ones that we're giving you here. That's the way. It's, you know, it's a convention. There isn't really any choice there. Okay, so I'm writing to apologize, I'm writing to complain, etc. Okay, I'm writing with regards to, that works as well. Okay. So then for each body paragraph, you're going to introduce that topic, which is in the bullet point, and then the detail, specific detail. Remember, develop the body paragraphs very fully to get that, you know, to get that 7 in task achievement. Okay, can you think of any sort of typical closing statements that we might put, again, following the letter conventions? This is a bit before yours, faithfully. That's the sign off. Okay, very nicely. I'm looking forward to hearing from you, or I look forward. Yes, exactly. That's very good. Yeah. So I look forward to hearing from you. Remember that ing always have to look forward to. Okay, yeah, prompt response, that would be great. Okay. Yeah, and then here we might, as a sign off, we have yours sincerely, or what's the other option? Yours sincerely or yours, that's right, Hamada, yours faithfully. Okay. Remember, this is a letter, not an email. So those are really the only two acceptable ways to sign off. Okay. Anything else is really emails or other types of communication. Okay. So let's look more specifically at the greeting and sign off, okay, for all the different types of letters. So again, this is very conventional. You have to match things very, very closely, okay, and depending on how you begin, okay. So if you don't know the name of the person, okay, you're going to start, dear sir, madam. How are you going to sign off if you start, dear sir, madam? I'm coming to it, Samani. I'm coming to it. Don't worry, it's coming up. How do you finish a letter if you don't know the name and you start, dear sir, madam? Okay, yeah. Okay, good. Yours faithfully. Okay. Convention. Okay, just calm down, guys. You're getting ahead of the game. It's all coming, I promise you. Okay, if you know the name, but it's a formal letter, okay, so for example, you would write, dear Mrs. Roberts, okay, Mr. or Mrs. with the surname, or sometimes you might write the first and second name. Okay, very good, guys. So in this case, yours sincerely. Okay, so just remember that format of how you open. But as I said, with the formal letters here, most likely you're going to be starting, dear sir, madam, finishing yours faithfully. If it's a formal letter, accessible dude, you wouldn't be using the first name only. Okay, it's most commonly the surname, Mr. or Mrs. and the surname. Okay. And if it's personal, so you're going to begin, hi, or again, dear. Dear always works. And how would you finish a personal letter? Okay, maybe best wishes. Okay, with love, Arjun, that's nice. Take care. Okay. So maybe all the best, very good, Tuba, or see you soon, something like that. Okay. I wouldn't worry about it too much, Basim. It's not like a huge error. It's just, you know, it's part of the letter conventions. But more importantly, you know, is fully developing those 3 bullet points and using formal register if it's formal letter and informal register if it's an informal letter. That's really, really key. Yeah, that would be the most important aspect here. Okay, so all right, let's move on. So that is your greeting and your sign off. Stick to the ones that we've given you there. Okay, so as we said at the beginning, very important that what is the purpose of the letter. Okay. Semi-formal, you would be writing probably dear and the name and the first name, okay, because you do know the person, but it would be then quite a formally written letter. Okay, so these are some possible purposes of the letters. So you might be reporting something, okay. What about, or accepting an offer? I can go back at the end, okay, sweetie? So just wait until the end when we're doing the question and answer. Possibly accepting a job offer, okay? Making a complaint, making an invitation, okay? Those are probably the most. Apologizing is another possible one, okay? Any other purposes that you could think of? Any other different purposes? Okay, job application. That could definitely, or replying to an advertisement. That's very good, Iti, yeah. Requesting something, apologize, yeah. something like that, to apologize. I think for condolences. That's quite an interesting one. I haven't actually seen that one, but it's possible. Yeah. So let's look at some of the examples. So in this case, we've got our formal letter. So this is a report. You're reporting a lost item. Okay. So how are we going to start this letter? Okay, yeah, so let's say we've got our dear sir, madam. How are we going to, okay, yeah, try and give me a full one. I wouldn't really say regret, because it's not really anything you've done wrong or any kind of bad news. Okay, very nice, Norenzi. I would like to report a missing item. Okay, so that's very good. So yeah, we've got our greeting. Okay, I'm writing to report. Okay, again, put that purpose there, fair and square, right there. Don't mess around. Use the word that describes the purpose. Okay, so the loss of a valuable item or a missing item, Basim, that's very nice, on one of your trains. Okay, all right, and that's the way that you want to start. Okay, let's have a look at some other ones. So if you look at that task, what's the purpose, first of all, of the 4 options we have there? What's the purpose of this letter? Okay, very good. Yeah, you're inviting somebody. What is it? Formal, semi-formal, personal? Okay, yes, it's a letter to a friend, so it's definitely personal. So how could we start this letter? Okay, very good. So you're going to be saying, you know, dear Maria, or hello Mary, hi my friend Arikan. That's very nice. Yeah. And then how would you go on? How would you begin the actual body of the letter itself? Okay. Okay, very good, Jerry. You know, you want to start something like, how are you? How have things been? Hope you're doing great, Angeli. That's very nice. It's been a while, Huey. That's very good. Yeah. Okay. So here we've got hi, Pina. So yeah, I hope all's well with you. Always start, if it's a personal letter, with some kind of, you know, checking if they're well. And then look, I thought I'd get in touch and see if you'd like to come over. So immediately, you know, we're using informal language here, get in touch, come over, using contractions, I'd, you'd, very different from the formal letter, okay? But very clearly, again, stated purpose there. Okay, how about this one? What type, first of all, of letter? Is it formal, semi-formal? Okay, good, formal. Again, you're writing to the company, not to a person. So, and what is the purpose? Okay, 3 years I was there. So yeah, we're making a complaint. So how am I going to start this letter? How are we going to begin? What's the greeting and what's the opening? Okay, very good for you. It's definitely going to be dear sir, madam. Okay, and then how would you give the purpose of the letter? Okay, not really reporting in this case. Remember, you are complaining. Okay, very good, Mohammed. I'm writing to complain about. Okay, very good. So I'm writing to complain about my missing suitcase, and then we have a specific information there. Oh, that's very nice, Deborah. I quite like that. I would like to bring to your notice. Slightly different, but bring to your notice. Okay. And then how about this example? What are we looking at here? Formal, semi-formal, personal. Okay, very good. Semi-formal. Yeah, you know the person, but the situation is a formal situation. So how are we going to open this letter? Okay, remember, you know them. Okay. Yeah. Okay, very good. So Yes, so you're accepting it. So dear, for example, Shoshana, it's a friend. You're going to use the first name. It's you can't be so formal as to use their surname. So yeah, dear Jason. Again, I wouldn't here put hi because the situation isn't quite personal enough for that. Okay, and how could we then introduce the purpose of this letter? Okay. Okay, that's very nice. I'd like to thank you for the opportunity, or thank you for the offer. Okay, very nice. Okay, so again, we've got here many thanks, which is a little bit more informal, for your offer regarding joining your company. Okay, so you can see here there's quite a careful balance between formal, careful consideration regarding accept this position. It's quite formal language, but for example, many thanks and the contraction I'd make it a little bit more informal. So, you're getting a balance there between the two. Okay. So let's have a look at the body paragraphs. So remember, 3 bullet points, 3 body paragraphs. Okay. In the order that they appear in the task. Okay, don't change the order, just follow the order of those 3 bullet points as they're given. Okay, so you introduce the idea and then specific detail in each case. You can use contractions for semi-formal. Yeah, that's correct, Basim. Okay, but the vocabulary is better to be quite formal. All right. So let's have a look. So we've got some introductory key phrases that you could use for this kind of letter. So how would you continue that sentence? The item is, remember, the more specific, the better. Sorry. How would you continue that sentence? The item is... Okay, yeah, so the color, a pair of glasses, so the specific, yes, good, Sunitha, specific colors, specific details, that is going to allow them to know it's yours and not somebody else's. Okay, very good, a purple laptop bag with some kind of orange on it. Very bright, but it's certainly very, very easy to find. Okay, very good, Andrea. Shape, color, brand, that kind of information. So, for example, a small brown leather wallet, specific logo. Okay, very nice, Romero, blue cover. Be specific. Okay. Then if it's any kind of bag or wallet, you're going to need to tell them what it contained. So inside was, how could you continue that? A DSLR camera with a couple of black lenses. That's very specific, Manish. I like that. Yeah, money. Probably would want to say how much, again, be specific about the value of anything or the amount of money. $2,000. Oh, some family photos, I reckon. Yeah, very good. Okay, so for example, we put a driving license, a credit card. So, again, very, very detailed. Okay, and then the amount in cash. Okay, yeah, identity cards, things like that, some coins. Very, very important to use the details. Okay. So that's the item, very specific description. Okay, I think I lost the wallet. So now we're moving on to the second bullet point, which is the where and the when. So how could we continue this sentence? I think I lost the wallet. What kind of detail are you going to put in there? Okay, what, 30 minutes ago in the back seat of the in the carriage, not the back seat of the car. Remember, you're riding to a railway company. Okay, while boarding the train during rush hour, something like that. The number of the seat, Mohammed. Very good. Yeah. So try again. The more specific you are, the better it's going to be. Okay, exactly, Juan. The 10:30 train from London to Edinburgh, yeah, or the number of the train. Very specific. Okay, so for traveling, for example, from Edinburgh to Glasgow on Wednesday, the 20th of March. Okay, Very good. And then a bit more specific to help them. I was I was deeply asleep. Okay, that's good. It's not quite what we're looking for. How can you focus their attention a bit more so they can find the item more quickly? Any ideas? I think somebody already put the seat number, which is the kind of thing we're looking for. So, you know, the number of the carriage. Yeah, I was in coach 3, something like that. I was engrossed in my phone, sweetie. That's very nice. Okay. But mainly focus on the where and the when information. Yeah. Okay. All right. And again, you know, that's we're reducing the content probably a little bit here. Otherwise, this would take too long. You can always add a little bit more detail. Then action you want them to take. So introducing this with a request form, you know, could you please, I would be grateful if, those kind of conventions again. So how can we continue this sentence? Okay, I would be grateful if you could find it or find them for me, depending on what it was that you lost. Okay, okay, good. Deploy your team in finding my phone. Very nice, Romero. Okay, all right, okay, locating it, things like that. Okay, very good. All right, we've got a missing word here. So what would fit in the missing, in the gap there? Let me know if a wallet fitting this description, accessible dude, very good. Okay, everyone's getting it now. So very nice expression there, fitting this description has been found. Okay. And again, what would we put here? My contact, very good. Remember, my contact details are, maybe an email, something like that. Okay. So we've got a very specific information all the way through. Then we could add a bit more there. So if it is found, how could we continue that sentence? Okay, so yeah, another request, like I would appreciate it, Surya. Okay, please let me know immediately. Please return it to this address. Please keep it in the lost and found department. Okay, all of those would be very nice. I'd be happy to collect it. That's perfect. Okay. So please keep it in a safe place. And how can we finish this? At your earliest. It's a very specific word we use here. Okay, very nice, Narenzi. At your earliest convenience. Okay, so again, we got some nice, very kind of typical phrases that you could use in a lot of these situations. At your earliest convenience, fitting this description. Okay, so kind of make a note of those. Okay. So then we need to close. Okay, so remember we want one of these standard sentences, statements that you put at the end of a letter. So what kind of typical standard sentences can you think of to finish off a letter like this, where you're reporting something? Just a bit before the yours faithfully, that's the sign off, but the closing statement. Okay, very nice, Indrasena. I look forward to hearing for you. Yeah, thank you for your attention. Thank you for your consideration. Okay, all of those are very nice. Yeah, okay. So we're going to look at some, so again, we're going to look at the difference between a formal and an informal letter. So we can see the table there. So for example, if we say, I can't wait to hear from you, is that informal or formal? Okay, yeah, definitely informal. How about the next one? Right soon. Okay, also informal. And okay, again, I'm really sorry for this delay. Okay, good. Yeah, so a bit of a cheat there because they were all informal, but you got that. So now we're going to turn them into formal phrases with the same meaning. Okay, so I can't wait to hear from you. In a formal setting, how would you express that idea? Okay, awaiting your response. I look forward to hearing from you. Yeah. Okay. So I look forward to hearing from you. Write soon. How would that be written if it was a formal letter? Okay, yeah, so I would appreciate your response. Okay, usually as early. Again, at this one, at your earliest convenience. Okay, looking forward to your response. That is very, very nice. And apologizing for a delay. Okay, that's very nice. Your speedy response, rapid response is, or prompt response is really appreciated. Okay, very nice, Kikaloma. Please accept my sincere apologies for the delay. Very good collocation there, sincere apologies, very nice. Okay, so again, we could say once again, I would like to apologize for this delay. Okay, so you've got options there for your informal letters, and you've also got options there for your formal letters. Okay. So we're going to put the whole thing up now so you can see it all together. Okay. And remember, this is kind of a bit of a condensed version, otherwise we'd be here for quite a long time. Okay, and then we've got our yours faithfully at the end. So just some of the key points. So decide what kind of letter is first before you do anything else. Make sure you've got the style right, and then all of the language and letter conventions will follow from that. Quick plan before you start. Never start writing straight away. Okay, the correct greeting and the correct opening for the style and for the purpose. Remember, keep it simple. I am writing to, yeah, that's all you need to do. 3 body paragraphs corresponding to the 3 bullet points in the task, fully developed detail in each of them. Closing sentence and sign off, again, the sign off which matches the way that you've begun. And a couple of minutes to check your grammar and your spelling and all of those kind of things to just make sure it's correct. Okay. So, sorry, I've just gone very dark. I'll just a little bit more light.
Welcome back, Annalie. And yeah, big thank you for that presentation. Thank you so much for talking us through how to write the formal letters. So everyone, we will have some time in a moment to discuss your questions. Any questions you have about IELTS writing or other parts of the test, feel free to add them to the Q&A function, and we'll go through them in a moment. So while you're writing your questions, we can say a big thank you to Annalie, first of all. Thank you very much, Annalie. And I'd just like to take a moment to promote some of our premium services. They're available via our website, IELTSonlinetest.com. We offer a speaking and writing evaluation service where you can book time with a qualified IELTS examiner. That could be Annalie, it could be myself, it could be another one of our team. And you can go through a full speaking test with the examiner. They'll give you very detailed feedback on your performance, and they will give you a report with your estimated score and suggestions for how you can improve. We also offer a similar service for writing as well. So you can find all of that on our website, IELTSonlinetest.com. It can be a very useful something for you to do before, if you're planning to take the test soon, to get very specific feedback on what you can do to improve your score. So that's an option for you. We have also just launched our new YouTube channel with all our webinars, which are now online in the same place on YouTube. So you can see the link to that there in the presentation. So feel free to check that out. Okay, what do you think, Annalie? Shall we take a look at some of these questions?
Absolutely.
Guys, if you could put your questions in the Q&A rather than the chat, so that we can focus on the the questions in the Q&A first, okay? It's more fair, and it helps us keep track of things. So we'll look at the Q&A ones first, okay? Let's see. We have a question here from MD Humayun, who is asking, in your closing, is best regards okay for a semi-formal letter? Is it okay to use best regards?
I would say for a semi-formal, yeah, because you definitely wouldn't want to use yours faithfully or yours sincerely for semi-formal. And again, obviously, lots of love or heart, cheers wouldn't work either. So yeah, best wishes or best regards in that sense would work for semi-formal. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe kind regards as well.
Kind regards is a very nice way to end a one like that. Yeah, best wishes.
Great, excellent. A question here from Navi, who is asking, how can I improve my speaking? I'm unable to get ideas for writing and speaking.
Oh, well, that's a very general question. I think if you're having trouble getting ideas, well, for example, the IoT, the website, has writing tasks and then model letters, so you can get a very good idea of what constitutes a good argument, what constitutes the right format for a task, for a formal essay. Just get as much information as you can, look at sample responses, watch videos. Anything like that is going to improve. Reading and listening always improves your vocabulary. So that's very important too.
Definitely, yeah. A question from Norenz, who is asking, I would like to know how many sentences make up 150 words.
Well, that's going to depend on how complex your sentences are. In terms of the word count, the best thing to do is to practice, writing these letters and count the words when you're doing the practice. Get an idea of what it looks like in your handwriting. And then when you come to the exam, you've written the right amount. You don't really want to be counting the words. That's a terrible waste of time. In a situation where time is very important. But you can't really call it a certain number of sentences because, sentences can vary between, 5 words and 25 words. But do practice and do get a good idea of what 160, 170 looks like in your handwriting. You can get the practice paper that you will get in the actual exam, so you can see how it will look on the actual answer sheet that you will do your real exam on.
Yeah, absolutely. Question from Juan Mac. Hi, Juan. I recognize your name, so welcome back to our webinar. They are asking, in which style should I write an essay? So should it be formal or semi-formal? I guess this is for the task 2 essay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, task 2 essay is always going to be formal. Okay, and it doesn't matter if you're doing the academic module or the general training module, it's an essay, it must be formal. That's it. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Question here from Indra Sena. They have asked, in paragraphs A, B, and C, will there be a question for each paragraph? I'm not quite sure of the meaning here, Indrasena, but is it to do with the number of bullet points?
Bullet points.
In question?
Yeah. If it's for the letter, for the task 1, you will always get 3 bullet points with 3 things to do, and that will always correspond to 3 body paragraphs in your letter. Yes, so if you mean the bullet points, then yes, that's always going to be the same.
Great, excellent. Annalie, question here from our old friend Anonymous. Hello.
Anonymous. Hey.
Can I use the word wallet more than once in the letter?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very good point actually, because I know a lot of people stress about using synonyms, and then sometimes that actually leads to candidates writing quite kind of awkward, overly complex, or quite strange words for the sake of finding another way of saying something. Something like a wallet, it's a wallet. That's what it is. That's what I would call it. It's not necessary to find synonyms for objects that are just one thing. The synonyms, or the variety of language you want to find around that in the description, and all of those kind of words. But don't stress about finding a synonym for something that only has one name, if you like. A briefcase is a briefcase, a wallet is a wallet. That's it. Yeah.
Definitely. If I could add, maybe one way to avoid repeating a common word is to use something like a pronoun to say this, or I would be grateful, if you could find this for me, item, perhaps. So just to help you with, instead of repeating it, and that will also increase your score for cohesion. So we have a question from Faiz, who's asking about a formal complaint letter. Which words are convenient to use? We did cover this topic in a previous webinar, Faiz, so you could also check out our YouTube channel and look for letters of complaint. We have a whole webinar on this topic. Annalie, if you wanted to give some of the ideas from that.
Yeah, so again, very clear purpose. I'm writing to complain about, you could say, I'm very unhappy about. Make sure you have a specific action that you want them to take. That's always going to be the last bullet point. I think those are the key kind of phrases that you need to use.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah. Excuse me, we have a question from Uday Saikiran, who would like to know the details of our upcoming webinars on reading and listening. Uday, we have a reading webinar coming up in 2 weeks on the 20th of June. We'll be looking at matching headings and true false not given. So you can sign up for that via the link I've put in the chat there to our webinar listings. For listening, we're still working on that, but hopefully that will be coming soon. Okay. We have a question from Tirth, who is asking, the currency symbol, should it be written before or after the amount?
Always before.
Yeah.
Always before.
Exactly. Yep. For Roshan, Roshan's question is similar to one we mentioned earlier. If we use repetitive words, will that have an effect on the mark?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that they are looking for with the vocabulary, it's called lexical resource, which means that you have a wide resource that you can draw on to, express the letter in the most precise way possible. So if it seems that you have a limited resource because you are repeating the same word, then that will definitely have a negative effect on your mark. So, it's a balance between, you don't want to be repeating words, but again, as we just said, don't, struggle to find synonyms for words which don't have synonyms. And as Jamie said, a really good way to improve your coherence is to use these reference markers. So this, it, those kind of words in place of just saying the wallet, for example. But yeah, it's basically, does the examiner feel that your resource is limited or that it's wide?
Exactly. Yeah. A related question here from Anusha. Anusha is asking, would it be a great idea if we use idioms and phrases or quotes in any of these letters?
I can't really see a situation where you would use a quote.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really just can't see any situation where you would use that. Idioms tend to be quite informal. So again, that's going to depend on the style of letter that you're writing. Formal letters don't tend to use kind of idioms or expressions like that. They tend to use a lot of Latin words, a lot of long words. But if you were writing to a friend, then yeah, you know, colloquialisms, idioms would be great.
Yeah, definitely. A question here from Mohammed Reza, who is asking, can we have the video of this meeting? And yes, Mohammed, you absolutely can. It will be on our YouTube channel and our Facebook group as well. So if you check them out early next week, the video from this presentation and our previous webinars will all be available there. A question from Kiki Lomo. They are asking, how many sections are there in this writing part? I'm not quite sure of the meaning here for the how many sections of the letter or the test.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what you mean. I mean, sections of the letter is going to be the greeting, the opening purpose, the 3 body paragraphs corresponding to the 3 bullet points, closing standard sentence, I look forward to hearing from you, and then sign off. Okay, that's the general training, the letter.
Yeah,
if that's what you were asking.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Great. Guys, we're going to have to wrap up very soon. I would just like to quickly address a question from Romario, who's asking, I stammer a bit. How will this affect my speaking test? Romario, the advice that I've heard is you should tell the test center before your test, make them aware of the issue, and then the examiner can take that into account when they're grading. So that will actually, you know, they will ignore that part of your speaking ability. So make sure you tell them, and it won't be an issue for you. Okay. Everyone, I'm afraid we need to wrap up there. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Annalie, for presenting and fielding all.
Thank you, Jamie. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for being so interactive. Bye-bye. Good luck.
Cheers. Yeah, best of luck, everyone. We will be having a couple more webinars next week. We have speaking coming up on Monday, and we have academic writing task 1 on Thursday. And then the following week, academic writing task 2 on Monday, and speaking, reading on the Thursday. So a busy schedule for the next couple of weeks. Hope we'll see some of you there. Okay, so thanks very much, everyone. We'll see you soon.
Bye. Bye, guys. Good luck. Bye.